Last week I had to replace the PTO water pump on a water truck. So I was able to film the repair on that. I figured this was the perfect video just to kind of show that not everything's glamorous. Like some days you're working on just basic maintenance stuff. This was a water pump. This is a very common repair that I do. Actually did another one after this one on Friday. Very common repair. You know, you're not always working on 470s, 870s, you know, big fun stuff. So sometimes it's just basic maintenance stuff you gotta do. Alright, so we have somewhat of an easy project this morning. It's the water pump here, and you can probably see it right there. The shaft is broken, and then if I grab the PTO shaft here, see how it's all, you can't see that. See how the shaft's hanging out? Get a better picture. So I got a new pump in the back of the truck, so I gotta take this off. It's probably not that bad. Take this bracket off here, and then you gotta take those bolts out. Worst part, you gotta deal with the dripping water. But I don't think it's that bad, so it's good to go in here. I don't have any way to hold the pump, so I use the outrigger on the truck. Gotta get this pipe off. I got that pipe off, no problem. So the pump's out. Pump's out. That bracket's, they broke the bolts off of that bracket, so I gotta get some bolts. Worst part is this isn't my truck still, so I don't really have enough stuff. But this one's kind of a little hard, but if you heat these and hit them hard enough, usually they'll crack and then it'll just break and you get this inlet out. All right, so where do we leave off? There's the old pump. I had to go to Home Depot to get some bolts. This truck doesn't have any bolts on it. The service truck doesn't have any bolts on it. So they broke. I can get in here without bumping my head. So these bolts are broken and this one is loose. So this is what holds, there's like a weld here too, looks like, that's broken. Hopefully the background noise isn't too bad. I'm right by the freeway. So I'm gonna get these bolts back in here, put the new pump on, get all that done, and then I like to put all the pipes on with the pump here because it holds it. See, this thing's loose. But I'm gonna see if somebody can help me with this pump because these pumps are not light. Well, this job's done. So if you look at this pump, the base is here, the output's here on the top. So then if you look at this new pump, base is here, the output's over here. So even if you can take these bolts loose and spin the housing, but then the output would be down here, making it in the wrong spot, so it would spin backwards. This pump was actually ordered for a different truck. We just thought it would work on this truck. That's why I brought it out here, because they kind of need this truck back. But the pump, I was talking to the other mechanic, and he said that it's probably going to spin backwards anyway, so it probably wouldn't work. So I'm going to load all this stuff up and go back to the shop. I did get this bracket all put back on. I got this bracket put back on, all the new bolts in, so that's all good. So I guess that's done for this job. All right, so back at the water truck here. Today's Thursday. We left off on Friday. The pump actually showed up on Monday, but I haven't had time. Today's the first day I've had a chance to come back. So with correct pump, you guys remember the outlet was down here, and even if I spun it, it would have been in the wrong spot. So the pumps come from Texarkana, which is not that far away, so we usually get stuff pretty quick. Got the PTO shaft. I got some new U-joints for the PTO shaft because this one got really hot when I took this off, so I wanted to replace both the U-joints. These are the bolts that we got last week at Home Depot. This still isn't my truck. My truck's still broken, so I don't have any bolts or anything, so those are still got. I did get some Never Sees. I forgot to grab that out of my truck, and some Loctite for the, let's see, right here there's the bolts that go here. I like to Loctite them because they can come out. I've had them actually vibrate out. So then where we left off, all the flanges and stuff are in here. And then we left off, this was all mounted. Got all the new bolts in here. So we just got to put the pump on, which pump is very heavy. I like to get the pump on and bolt it in, and then it makes hooking the hoses up way easier. Let's get to that. I like to leave these bolts loose until I get the pipes on, because sometimes you have to move the pump around a little bit to get all this stuff to line up. So I like to leave those loose, get all this on, and then hook these back up, and then tighten that up. I am done with this thing. I was using it, I don't know, maybe a month ago. I was using it. It stopped working, like the battery died. Put a new battery on it. No good. It drained the whole battery. So I sent it out to Snap-on. I just got it back last week, and I was using it for the second time after getting it back from being rebuilt. Same thing. Just like it stopped working, like the battery died. This is a brand new battery. You see the lights on? Nothing. So it's the second time it burned out. So I'm going to get it rebuilt and see if he'll give me money back for it or something. I don't know. And if I leave it like this with the switch off, it'll run the battery dead, like the motor's fried or something. All right, so we got it all in. I had to take those bolts over there loose because I couldn't get this flange lined up. So these bolts are tight. This is in, that's in. I got to tighten this clamp still. Tighten those bolts and tighten those bolts after I get this tight. So this is all I use for that. It's Permatex. It's just thread, what is it? Thread sealant. It's basically PTFE. Well, focus there. PTFE is all it is. I don't like to wrap tape with these big fittings. So the way these work, if you're unsure, it's just a piece of pipe there's a groove cut in it. This rubber goes between it, and then these clamps have like a groove area that they sit in, and there's 2 bolts. So get that tight. I'll tighten all these bolts up, and then we'll do the U-joint. All right, so we got the old U-joints out, cleaned up the holes. I tapped that back out. So my die grinder isn't working, so I put this in the drill. That works. I can't get the air compressor to work on this truck. And then these style U-joints have these little snap rings. They go right here. They go on the inside to keep the caps in place. I'll show you once I get it all back together. See right here, they go right in here to keep the caps from coming out. This one needs to pop out just a little bit more, but you can see that one, or maybe, yeah, you can see that one right there. All right, so we got all the U-joints back in, but I just noticed, so it says Spicer right here, but then that looks like a Briggs & Stratton logo, doesn't it? Are Briggs & Stratton and Spicer like together or something? I didn't know that. I was using this for the bolts. It's Permatex red thread locker, but it's like a gel. It almost looks like 515. I don't think it's new or anything, but I just saw it at Napa. You know, Loctite has those that look like chapstick tubes, but this was way cheaper than that. So it's all done here. Got the drive line in, got it never seized. Actually, did that thing slip? No, it didn't slip. Okay. Got the drive line in. You can see that. It's all never seized. All the bolts are tight. I gotta put that cap back on, and then let's test it out here. Get some water.
The video just kind of stopped right there, so I was able to fill it with water and test it. The lever inside the cab was broken for one of the sprayers, and they didn't tell me, and I didn't check it. So I couldn't get one of the sprayers to stop spraying. But I talked to the foreman, and it had been broken like that for a while, and they had been using a wrench to close it. So that water truck actually went back to the shop to get fixed. I'll have to work on that next week. Also, that was still not my service truck. My service truck's still broken for DPF issues, but it's kind of surprising how much stuff you can actually get done. I don't have very much stuff in that truck at all. I grabbed pipe wrench, you know, big pipe wrench, all my big pliers, and my sockets, and that's pretty much all I have in that truck, and I'm actually able to get quite a bit work done. Hopefully my truck comes back next week. That'd be exciting. Thanks for watching. If you guys like to donate, there's a donate page down below.